It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games. Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
It's the best station, period.
Let's be honest. These guys have the best job on the planet.
You come to work in a frickin' bathrobe?
So if you're out there working hard, you should also expect your radio hosts to put in an honest day's work. So of course, Jake and Ben are live at 5 with the biggest headlines and the best analysis in Utah. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Wow, Joe Ingles, big Joe Ingles news, Ben.
Okay.
He's signing as a free agent with Melbourne, the whatever that team is.
Yeah.
The Melbourne something or other.
Melbourne United.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Wow. You know, you can say that Joe Ingles got made the very most of his NBA opportunity.
We talk about some guys. We're talking about a lot in the draft. Do you reach your 1 out of 1 outcome? Like the best case scenario.
Uh-huh.
If you get there, you become Shea. You become Michael. You become LeBron. You become Tim Duncan. You hit your absolute peak. Joe's peak was 1,000 miles below those guys, but he hit his peak. No question about it.
He played probably 4 more years in the NBA than he should have.
810 games, 12 NBA seasons. That is so far above what anybody ever would have thought. And he started late. He didn't come to the NBA as an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old. He was past his athletic prime by the time he got to the league and still stuck around forever. So, tip of the cap to Joe Ingles on a very long, successful NBA career.
How old are his kids now, probably?
30 and 28.
No. Like they're probably 10 or 12, right?
9 and 6, something around there.
Do you think they will always have an American accent?
I bet that would kill him inside.
Like if they move, they're moving back, obviously.
Uh-huh.
Do you think they would ever develop an Australian? I think they're old enough that they've got an American accent forever.
Ironically, they winter in Australia, right? Because aren't the seasons reversed?
Uh-huh.
So they go back to Australia during the American summer, but it's winter there to get the kids. I believe he said this to help them keep their accents.
Speaking of former Jazz players, let's talk about another one. And, of course, the Eastern Conference Finals. Joining us now, he is the afternoon drive host for 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland. Nice enough to join us. He is Nick Wilson. Hi, Nick.
Gentlemen, great to be here. And I also would like to winter or summer in Australia.
Sounds
Whenever you can get it. Yeah, I'll go wherever. All right, so the Cavs got to be riding high. That was a very tough series when they were down 2-0. I thought they were dead to rights, and they bounced back. Let me ask you this. How much do you think the future of this roster depended on the outcome of last night's game?
Oh, all of it. I think James Harden was going to be here regardless because that ties back to February. But I don't think there was a player or person that was safe if they lose that game. I mean, Dan Gilbert bust in, I believe it was about 3.5% of Cleveland to Detroit for that game. If you lose that game, it automatically tells everyone, hey, we tried, we did the Harden deal, we did all these other things. Maybe this just isn't meant to be as currently constructed. And that includes Kenny Atkinson, Kobe Altman. I think everything was on the table. That's how big of a win it was last night.
So Ben and I were talking about Donovan Mitchell's game, and he had a great game. And it seemed like, and who was it that was talking about it after the game, Ben? Was it
Jared
Allen talking about Donovan making an effort to get everybody involved and play maybe a little more unselfishly. Do you think that's an accurate assessment? And what do you expect in the Eastern Conference Finals from him?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Donovan through most of this series has been, I don't want to say he hasn't been struggling consistently, but he's been focused on scoring, and James Harden has been doing a lot of the kind of facilitating instead of everybody up. And so I don't think it was a coincidence that Donovan had the game he had, and all of a sudden the bigs came to life last night in a way that, like, it's really hard to get Jarrett and Evan going at the same time unless it's Donovan attacking the way that only Donovan can kind of attack. So I agree wholeheartedly. I thought as good as the 26 points were, him getting the bigs going is what turned that into a blowout, because off that you were getting just wide open, ridiculous-looking threes. For the Eastern Conference Finals, it's interesting. This has been Donovan's most polarizing postseason with the Cavs because he hasn't just been an automatic 25 to 30 a night. He's had some really bad games, and in the previous 3 years, guys, I feel like you could pencil in Donovan for 25 to 30 no matter if the Cavs are going to win or lose. So his kind of like the assessment of how Donovan's played this year is different. The three previous years, it was Don and the Donettes, right? And so this year's been a little different. He has been up and down. Harden as well has been up and down. In the end, I actually take that as kind of a positive because you've had multiple big Strus games. Jared Allen's been a monster in 2 straight Game 7s. Like, Evan Mobley's come out. Sam Merrill's had. So, like, in the end, the recipe you need to win a championship is you need your best players each to win you a game, and then you probably need your bench to win a game, and then you probably need your head coach to win a game, right? Well, I think the Cavs have finally gotten on that, but it's at the expense of people's trust in Donovan this year because everyone's concerned at different points whether Donovan was healthy or not.
So we have a rule on our show. If you're going into a season or a series saying, well, if they don't win this, we're going to fire the coach or we're going to trade the player, you probably should fire or trade the player anyways. If you go to the conference finals now, is everything forgiven, or what standard do they need to reach here for everyone to feel like, okay, this is the right roster, or do you think they've already eclipsed that?
So it's interesting. There's the Nick threshold. There's the Ben and Jake threshold. There's my partner JP's threshold. And I think there's Dan Gilbert's threshold. And I'm going to say Dan Gilbert's threshold is a little bit higher for this roster. One, because he's been paying out the tax at the yin-yang for about 3 years now, and this is his first Eastern Conference Finals trip. The other is you've got to make a decision on Donovan and whether to pay him or not. And it's not as simple as Donovan's really good at basketball, you want to keep him, because he is going to be on the wrong side of 30 for all of this extension. And he will be making $75 million a year for this extension as well. So I don't know that they need to, quote-unquote, get to the NBA Finals for this to happen. But it's awesome that you finally cleared the first two rounds. There's no doubt about it. You need to look like you belong against the Knicks. Like, if this is a quick, I've seen a lot of national people say this is a 4 or 5 game series with the Knicks taking this quick. If that's the case, I still think the Cavs have to reconsider, hey, do we auction Donovan off and maybe, just maybe, pivot to a Evan Mobley-centric thing? I think that's the difference between getting swept by the Knicks in 4 games and maybe this thing going 7 or even if the Cavs win it.
This sounds like a loaded question. It is not, because Ben and I both enjoyed covering Donovan Mitchell, and he was very friendly with the media and everything around here. But I'm curious as to your personal experience covering Donovan Mitchell.
It's interesting. I think Donovan has been every bit as advertised as when we got to Utah. I think honestly, when you watch him every night, you're kind of just you kind of get surprised at how great he can be in those fits of a 50-point game where it just feels like he can't do anything. I do think that I think one of the most interesting things about Donovan is there are times where I think, oh, he's saying the right things because he knows what the right thing is to say. And then there's time where I listen to him and I think, oh, I think he's saying what he actually believes. And they sound very, very similar. But I do think it's been interesting to watch him. I think Donovan's kind of like Giannis. I think Donovan wants all the glory of being the best player on a team, but he doesn't love the kind of like the LeBron stuff, getting your hands dirty, weighing in on teammates getting traded, being the jerk. And I think this year feels like a pivot because he was consulted about the Darius Garland trade, but he still seems reticent for at least publicly to get his hands dirty. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, we know that. So let me ask you this then. Last night, was there a 5% contingent, 10%, 25%? Was there a group of Cavaliers fans who were hoping it would end so they would start anew or go in the Evan Mobley direction? Or do you think everyone wanted this to work out?
I can tell you there was definitely one person who did want that to go a certain way last night because it was my board op, who has been on an anti-Donovan kick here. In a way, like, I've made the point for like 2 months, like, all right, you made the trade for James Harden. Now Donovan's got to show up. Like, you've given him everything that I think he needs to succeed. And so if they don't succeed, it's not going to be because Evan Mobley isn't Giannis. It's not going to be because Jared Allen isn't Nikola Jokic. It's going to be because Donovan didn't get you over the hump. And I felt like that was like a hard line take to take in this town. During Game 6, my producer, my board op is texting me Donovan Mitchell trades to the Heat. And I was like, can we let the series play out, bub? So I throw my buddy Mac under the bus there because I do think there are people who it's like, all right, let's get this show on the road. Either we're winning this thing, we're going to make a real case at going to an NBA Finals this year, the first one we ever would have done without LeBron James in franchise history. As a matter of fact, this is the first Eastern Conference Finals in Cavs history without LeBron since 1992. And you know, let's do this, or let's go ahead and understand that maybe there's a better way to build the future. I would probably say it's under 10%. But they are a vocal minority, even if they are just a minority.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car is gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Out here, if you're doing nothing, you're doing everything right. Though on a cruise with Norwegian, even if you're doing nothing, you're still basking in the warm sun, enjoying the peaceful ocean waves. You're breathing. Don't forget about breathing. Definitely need to be breathing. So you get to do nothing, or everything, but you still need to be breathing. It's like really important.
Experience the difference with cruises to Alaska, the Caribbean, and Europe. Norwegian Cruise Line. It's different out here. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Norwegian Cruise Line ships registry the Bahamas and USA.
You mentioned the pundits talking about the Knicks, and I think the pundits always overrate the Knicks. That's a constant because they're in New York. I think it's going to be a way better series than that. How do you like the matchup?
Yeah, I also like this match. I feel the same way about you. Like, man, there's Knicks fans who make the Knicks very hard to root for, and then there's the national media who anytime the Knicks do anything worth of note, it's like when somebody's firstborn kid, he hits a home run or he gets a hit in baseball for the first time, and he would have thought that he's Ken Griffey Jr. You know, it's just it's over the top. And now, in fairness, when they stink, well, no one's ever stunk more than them either. But yeah, I think this is a good matchup. And here's the thing: I'm willing to give the Knicks the edge in this because they have done more in the postseason over the last 3 or 4 years than the Cavs. And I think Jalen Brunson has risen to the moment 9 times out of 10 in key moments in the playoffs. I just think it's interesting. Like, I know Karl Anthony Towns is doing a lot of their playmaking now. Well, one-legged Joel Embiid isn't going to be able to disrupt that. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley might have something to say about that. So in the end, I think they're going to be a lot of fun because I think we're going to score a lot of points here. Both teams are. It won't be setting basketball back to the 1970s like the Cavs-Pistons series were. But I still will say I think it's probably going to be Knicks in 7. But it really wouldn't surprise me if the Cavs kind of pulled this out because, one, the Cavs are criminally slept on. And two, I still don't think the Cavs have played to the ceiling of their talent. This is a team figuring out who they are every night in the postseason. I don't know how close they are to fully maximizing that. But, like, if you said right now, I asked this question a couple times today on my show, are the Cavs a better team now than they were before the playoffs began? I think the answer is yes, because they found a way to maintain all the little things you need to do to win in the playoffs. That's something they didn't know 2 years ago, let alone, 4 weeks ago.
I think if Donovan can play the way he played last night, absolutely, they can make the finals, no question about it. In the postgame, we played the clip earlier. Kenny Atkinson said, Donovan, congratulations, you get to go home. I will tell you, everybody in Utah, and maybe it's our inferiority complex or whatever it is, turned the state of New York, the city of Manhattan, the Brooklyn Nets as a team into the boogeyman. Everybody was so afraid of New York and that being a destination Donovan preferred to be in over Utah that it became, I think, bigger than the actual story itself. How do Cleveland fans feel about New York? Does that still feel like a logical endpoint for Donovan at some point? Does that feel like an inevitability?
So, not really just because Brunson's there. And, it's interesting. For the first 2 years Donovan was here, anyone in the national media who talked about this would say, well, the second he hits free agency, he's out the door. And so when Donovan signed the contract extension, was it now 2 off seasons ago, 3 off seasons ago, it felt like maybe some flipping the bird to the national media, which we liked. And 2, it just felt like such a vindication and a validation of what the Cavs have done. And I think we've had enough success with Donovan. Like, there's this great kind of placing Donovan in the Cavs pantheon, where I think everyone here loves watching this guy play basketball. And if we could watch him play basketball until he retires and we win a championship or 2, it would be, he probably would get right in there as maybe the second greatest Cavalier ever. But we're also, there is kind of this awareness of, like, great player, not LeBron. And that's not said in, like, a negative way towards him. It's just, we had LeBron, and I don't mean this in, like, a negative way. LeBron, by virtue of his power, held the Cavs hostage for all 11 years he was here. And that was so much pressure. And it was so outwardly in your face that even though I know Donovan does the same things, kind of like we talked about, it's just not as in your face. So there's almost a much more ease way here of, if it came, let's say it was this offseason, hey, Donovan and the Cavs can't align on a future, I think we'd all be bummed that he's gone. But, I mean, we've already lost the biggest thing we could ever lose twice in LeBron, and I think there's an understanding of Donovan came in as a mercenary, and he's pretty much fulfilled his obligation short of winning an NBA championship. So it's interesting. I think the LeBron stuff is always informs this. And I also think because Don goes about his business in the way which you and I talked about, I think that plays better here. Whereas LeBron, even though he's from Akron, it was a bit Hollywood. It was a bit power play. It's not enough for him to make the moves. He's got to let you know he's making the moves, and that he could leave at any moment. And I think the absence of that has allowed Cavs fans to maybe enjoy the minute by minute with Donovan just a little bit differently.
All right, I really hope this question makes sense. I love talking to sports radio guys because you get a feel for what fans are like, and I like talking about the different markets. Like here in Utah, fans have an inferiority complex that generates great interest, but also a lot of kind of whining. But like Detroit fans famously love to be mad, right? Philly fans are mean. Miami fans don't exist. I'm curious, what are Cleveland fans like?
You know, it's interesting because this has changed in my life. We very much had that underdog mentality growing up because we hadn't sniffed a championship in 50 years by the time LeBron finally won one. And so I still think there's a little bit of that there. I do think, though, we definitely have gotten to, you're my favorite team, I love everything about you. We will flip that switch on you so quickly, though, if we think you've underperformed. And I don't know if that's the social media era, but Cleveland used to get behind all levels of losers. Like, it almost made us love you more if you lost in the AFC title game to John Elway than if you had won the Super Bowl, right? Like, we took there was such a part of who we were. We took losing in such great stride. We suffered in it, right? And since we won a championship, do we flip on a team? Even this Cavs team. Like, this Cavs team this year, they were in the number one seed last year, 64-65 win team, beloved in Cleveland. They lost to Indiana in 5, and it was bleep those guys and everything they're about. So we're still the same town, just a little bit more snobby and act like we've won 10 titles instead of the one title.
I like it.
It's great.
Yeah, it's hey, everybody, go to the sports radio host to take the temperature on fans. They know. And Nick, we appreciate you jumping on with us. It should be a really fun series. I believe that. I think it's going to be really close.
Guys, I got a lot of love for Utah. I got a lot of love for Salt Lake City. Hope everybody's there well. And anytime you need me, just give me a call. Okay?
Oh, you're the man, Nick. We'll bug you again for sure. Thanks, buddy.
Great stuff, Nick.
See you.
All right, there you go. That is Nick Wilson, host Afternoon Drive 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland.
Summer is all about freedom, fun, and growing up. And between the ages of 9 and 13, kids are starting to form their views about alcohol. With more independence, their still developing brains need more guidance and support than ever. That's why summer is the perfect time to stay connected and plan fun, safe family activities together. Research shows kids who spend quality time with their parents doing what they enjoy are less likely to drink underage. And when kids feel close to you, they're more likely to listen, especially when you set clear expectations. In fact, kids who drink before 15 are far more likely to struggle with alcohol later. This summer, create a no-bummer summer with fun, alcohol-free activities for your kids. Go to summer.parentsempowered.org to take a quick quiz and discover ideas tailored to your family. A little time together can make a big difference. For more information and to learn more about how to prevent underage drinking, visit parentsempowered.org.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.